Hello everyone, welcome back to our CIS1060. So today we're gonna go over our project number 6. Before we start, make sure you download these two documents. The Word is for the instruction and the Excel is for the workbook. We're gonna apply our project number 6. So after you have that in your device, first we want to edit the file name by change 1 to 2. We go to the File tab and find Save As, and then we change the 1 to 2. Please make sure you know where you save your document, and then we hit the Save button, and we go back to our workbook. Let's get started. Project steps number 1. Baosang is a project assistant for the 5-Point Group, a management consulting company in Chicago, Illinois. She tracks the consultant projects and the billings in an Excel workbook and asks you for help in updating and analyzing the data. Go to the Count Project worksheet, that is the third one, Count Project, which lists the project data for counter account. I'll ask you to format the data as follows to match the data for the other consultant. Step number 8, format range B3 through G13 as an Excel table with a header using the gold table style medium 5 table style. So what we're gonna do is we want to change the format for the range B3 through G13 as an Excel table. So currently that is a range. How we do that is we first select the B3 through G13. So we select B3 through G13. Once we select that, we go to the Home tab, and in the Style group, you can see here is a format as a table. So that function means that we can quickly convert the range of the cell to a table with its own style. So we go there, and you can see here is a light, medium, and a dark style for this table. What we want to do is we want to style that as a medium 5. So we go to the median and find medium 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is a gold table style medium 5. So once we hit that, you can see this range is selected right now, and here pop up a window that asks where is the table the data for your table. So we already have a B3 through G13 there, and we also select my table as header, and then we hit OK. So now, as you can see, this range, from the cell B3 through G13, this range of content format as a table, as an Excel table right now, and that is a style medium 5 for the table style. And next, step number B, we want to use count as the name for this table. So how we do that is we hit any cell from this table, and the system automatically lead us to the table design tab. And in the first group, that is properties, you can see here is where we can name this table. Currently, that is table 3, that is the name for our table, and we want to use the count for the table. So what we can do is we select the count and copy that from our instruction. And we select that, Control C, then we go back to our worksheet, and then we paste in this box, and then we press the enter. So now this table are named as a count. And step number 2, Bao wants you to add a new project for the counter account, add the record shows in table 1 to the end of accounts table. So basically, we want to put this table, we want to add this content in this table count. So if we take a look at that, the 14 stands for the row number 14. So the count table, you can see the last row for that is located in the row number 13. So we want to put all this content after that. And the PR7752, that format match the project ID, and the whole row for that actually match this table. So what we want to do is we copy the content after 14 and select all the content from this table and Control C. And then go back to our workbook and then start from the cell B14 and then paste all the content. You can see now we add this content in count table. But what we want to do is we also want to format that to match the existed table. So what we can do is we go to the paste option. So currently it automatically select the first one, keep source formatting. But what we want to do is we want to match destination formatting. So we select the second one. Now you can see this new content, the format is switched as the count table. So that is what we want to do with step number 2. And step number 3, she also wants you to focus on contract accounts projects with a contract total over 600,000. Use the customer number filter to display only projects with a contract total greater than 600,000. So in that case, we want to apply the filter with the contract total. If we take a look at this table count, you can see here is icon in each of these header. So what we want to do is we want to apply the filter with the contract total, that is this one. So if we hit this icon, you can see here pop up menu, and here is option that is a number filter. And that is where we want to apply the number filter with the contract total. In that case, we want to display the number greater than 600,000. So we choose the greater than. So once we select that, you can see here pop up dialog and show rows where is a contract total and is greater than. And after that, in this box, we want to put 600,000. So we put 600,000. Make sure you have a 50 after the 6, and then we hit OK. So after we applied that, you can see now this icon change a little bit. So that means that we apply the filter with this header, with this column, and that means the other icon, the down arrow, means that we didn't apply the filter with that header. So in this case, we successfully applied the filter with the contract total, and now you can see it only displayed the project with the contract total greater than 600,000. But what about other content from this table? Actually, they are hidden, but we didn't delete them from this table. So we finish our step number 3. Step number 4, go to Valley's project worksheets, which contains the table named Valley for Gabriel Valley's consulting project. Unfreeze the pans in the worksheets because the worksheet is not long or wide enough to scroll. So first we go to the Valley projects that is next to the count project. So currently, if we take a look, you can see here is a 2 line in this worksheet. And if we scroll down or change the column, you can see all the content from the row number 1 to row number 19 just froze in this worksheet. That means that the system, in this workbook, it applied the freeze pans. And what we want to do is we want to unfreeze the pans. So how to do that is we go to the View tab, and you can see here is a group named Window, and here is a icon that is a freeze pans. So that is where we can find the unfreeze pans. If we go there, the first option is unfreeze pans, and we select that one. You can see this 2 line is removed right now. And if we scroll down or change the color, you can see now the content is unphrased right now, and we successfully apply unphrased appends in this worksheet. Let's go to step number 5. I'll ask you to organize the project by project type and contract amount, and to display the average amount of the contract and billings. Modify the values table as follows. Step number 8, remove the filter from the value table to display all the data. If we take a look at this table, you can see the location header. The icon looks different than other headers. So that means that we already apply the system already applied the filter with the location. So now we want to remove this filter with the location. What we can do is we first hit this icon, and then you can see here pop-up menu, and we just find the clear filter from the location, and we select that one. Now you can see we can view all the content for this table. And we successfully removed the filter from the value table to display all the data. And step number B, sort the data in ascending order first by the project types field, and then in descending order by the contract total field. So that means that we want to apply 2 filters with this table. Previously, when we apply the filter, we only apply 1 filter with the table, so we can just simply click the down arrow icon and apply the filter with that. But what about we want to apply multiple filter with this table? So we can just right click any cell from this table, and once this menu pop up, we go to the sort, and you can find the customer sort. So we select that one, customer sort, and you can see this window pop up, and that is where we can apply multiple filter with this table. So we want to follow the order as the requirement. So first, we want to sort the data in ascending order first by the project type field. So the sort by, we select the project type, and for the order, that is ascending order, so that is A to Z. So we keep A to Z here. And then we want to apply our second filter with that, which is contract total. So we hit this button, add level, and then by for that option, we select the contract total. And for this case, we want to follow the descending order. So that means that we want to follow the largest to smallest order for that. So now that is the smallest to largest. We change that to largest to smallest. And after that, we hit OK. So now this table, we apply to filter with that as the requirement. And next, step number C. Insert a total row in the value table. So how to add, insert a total row to this table is we go to the table design. If we go to the table design tab, you can see here is a group named table style option. Currently for this table, we have header rows, banded rows, and filter button. And now we want to insert the total row. So we select the total row for that. Once we select, you can see the table automatically add a new row that is a total. So we successfully insert the total row in this table. And step number D, we want to use the total row to calculate average contract total and the average bill to date amount. So that means that we want to, in this row, we want to apply some like a calculation for this header, this column. First, we want to calculate average for the contract total. So if we go to the total row, once we hit the cell under the contract row, you can see here is a down arrow option. If we hit that, you can see here is a different option. We can do the calculation for the contract total. In that case, we want to calculate the average. So we select the average. Once we select that, you can see now the system automatically helping us to calculate the average for the contract total. So we already have this result and that put in the total row. And we also want to calculate the calculate average for the bill to date. So we select the cell in the bills to dates column and in the total row. And we currently, that is a sum, and we change that to average. So now you can see the number changed, and the result stands for the average for the bill to dates. So we finished our step number D. Step number E in the cell B12, change the text to average to indicate what amount represent. So in the row 12, basically, these two numbers are the average for the contract total and the bill to date. But in the first cell, that is a total, we want to change that to average. If we just simply click the total and hit the down row arrow, and if we just select the average, what's gonna happen? You can see that is display an arrow for that. Why it happened? Because once we select the average, actually, it helping us to calculate the average for the content under the project ID. But if you take a look for that, actually, the format is not a number. So in that case, it cannot helping us to calculate the average for that. What we want to do is we only want to change the text for the to the average from the total. So what we want to do is we first remove all the content in the cell B12. Just simply copy the average from the instruction and paste that to the cell B12 and hit enter button. So now we change the text to average and we finish our step number 8. Step number 6, go to the Watson project worksheet that is next to the Valley project. And then we want to manage more projects than any other consultant. And Bao wants you to summarize the Watson project data using the subtotal to show the value of the project in each industry. Modify the Watson project data as follows. Step number 8, sort the Watson table in ascending order by the industry field. So in that case, we only want to apply one filter with this table. So how we do that is we first find the industry. So this one, industry, and here is a down arrow. So once we hit that, in this menu, we can find what's the order we want to apply. That is ascending, basically A to Z. So we select the sort A to Z. So we hit that. Now you can see this icon changed and we successfully applied the filter with the industry and changed the order by ascending order. So we finished step number A. Step number B, we want to convert the table to a normal range. So currently that is a table and we want to convert that to a normal range. How we do that is we go to the table design. Since we currently we hit the cell G15. So in the routing, we have the table design. So we go to the table design. And in the tools group, you can see here is an icon that name convert to range. So we hit that, and the system will pop up a window says, do you want to convert the table to a normal range? And we hit yes. And now this worksheet, we convert it to a normal range. And next, step number C. We want to insert a subtitle into the range B3 through G18 with the subtitle appealing at each change in the industry column value. So how we do that is we want to insert a subtitle. So how we do that is we first go to the data tab. So data tab. And in the data tab, you can see here is icon. That name is outline. So that is the last group of this, under the data tab. So we go to the outline group and select the subtitle. So once we select the subtitle, you can see here pop up a window, and that is what we can adjust for the subtitle. So in this case, if we take a look, it says that we want to insert subtitle into the range B3 through G13. So if we take a look now, the B3 through G13, this range, this area is selected right now. And what else? With a subtitle appealing at each change in industry. So currently at each change, that is a project ID. So we change that to industry, and then we finish step number C. And step number D, add subtitle using the sum function. So use the function. Currently that is a sum. We don't need to change the sum. We just keep the sum there. And to the contract total and the build to date column. So currently at some subtitle 2, we have a build to date. And we also want to contract total. So we select the contract total and then we hit OK. So now we apply the subtitle with this table. So if we take a look, you can see in the left corner, there's 3 different levels for our table, and the different level stands for different like content. So if we take a look at the level 2, you can see here it only leave the content under the industry, and the content, the level 3, that will contain all the content for that level, for this table. So that is how this subtitle work. And we finish our step number D. Let's move to step number 7. Go to the Jonas project worksheet. That one is next to the Watson project. So we already there. And the Jonas table on this worksheet lists the consulting project for the Jana. We want to format the table to match other in the worksheets as follow. Step number 8, apply the gold table style medium 5 table style to this Jana table. So how we do that is currently we select the cell G11, and once we select the content from this table, now you can see the table design tab pop up, and we go there. And we want to change the style as a style medium 5. So if we take a full look of the table design tab, you can see here is a group that is a table style, and we go there. And in that case, we want to apply median number 5. So we first go to the median, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we select the median 5. That is a good table style median 5, and we hit that. Now we style our table as a median 5 style. And next, we want to, step number B, we want to display the filter button. So we also go to the table design tab and go to the table style option. And now we have the header rows and the banded rows. And what we want to do is we also want to add a filter button. So we select the filter button. And then you can see we have the filter button in our table. And we successfully finish our step number B. Step number 8. Bao knows that the Yana table includes the duplicate record and asks you to remove it. Use the table tool to remove the duplicate record based on the value in all columns in that table. So what we want to do is we want to remove the duplicate record. So where we can find that is we go to the table design tab. And in the second group, that is a tools group, you can see here is an icon. That name is remove the duplicate. If we hit that icon, you can see here pop-up window. So the system automatically select all the column. That is what we want to apply, remove the duplicates. And then we hit OK. Now you can see the reminder pop up. It says that 1 duplicate value found and removed, and 11 unique value remain. So that is what we want to have. So we hit OK. So now we remove the duplicate content for our table. And next, step number 9, we go to the all consultant worksheet, which contain a table named consultant listing data for all 5-point group consultant. Freeze the first 3 rows of the worksheets to display the worksheet's title and column heading when the worksheet is scrolled. So we first go to the All Consultant worksheet. That is the second worksheet. And then we want to apply the freeze. We want to freeze the first three rows of the worksheet. How we do that is we want to start from the row number 4. So if we start from row number 4, that means that the previous row's gonna freeze. So where we can do that is we go to the View tab, and in the window group you can find the icon that named Freeze Pans. So currently we hit the row number 4, and we go to the Freeze Pans, and we select the first one, Freeze Pans. That means that we're gonna freeze the the previous rows before the row we select. So in that case, we start from the row number 4. Now, if we scroll on this worksheet, you can see the row 1, 2, 3 are froze right now. So that means that we successfully freeze the first 3 rows of the worksheet. And display the worksheet's title and column heading when this worksheet is scrolled. And let's move to step number 10. Bao asks you to calculate the difference between the contract total and the bill date amounts. Modify the consultant table as follows. Step number A, add the table column to the end of a consulting table. So how we do that is we want to add a new column to this table. So what we want to do, we want to add that to the end of a consultant table. So basically, if we hit the column edge and right click, and then there is an insert. So we select insert. You can see now we successfully insert a column after the column G. And if you take a look at formatting, that basically match on this table, and we successfully add a new table column to this table. And next, we want to use the amount due as the column heading. So we select amount due and copy that. And we go back to this workbook and start from the same row for this header, which is row number 3. So we double click on the cell H3 and paste what we copy. And then we press enter. You can see amount due automatically be part of the header, and it also have the filter with that. So we successfully add amount due as the new column for this table. And next, step number C, apply the middle vertical alignment to this column heading and use the auto field to adjust the width of the column. So once we select the column to the column heading, alignment to the column heading. So once we select this amount due heading, and then we go to the home tab, and you can find here is alignment. And we select the middle align for that. That is the second one. So we select that. Now you can see we apply the middle vertical alignment to this column heading. And we also want to apply the auto fit to adjust the width of the column. So there is a simple way to apply the auto fit to adjust the width for that is you can find here is a line between the column H and column I. So we select that line between them and double click, and now we apply the auto fit to adjust the width for this column of that column. So we finish step number C. And step number D, in the cell H4, enter a formula using the structured reference and no function to subtract the value in the bill to date column from the value in the contract total column. So we want to create formula for that. First, we find H4, that is this one, and we double click that, start with the equal sign. And in that case, we want to use the contract total minus the bill to date. So what we can do is we first select, because currently we're located in row number 4, and since that is a table, there is a very simple way to do that is in the same row, we choose the content under the contract total. Once you hit that, you can see in this formula bar, automatically put the contract total there. So that is what we want to calculate. And then we put minor and also select the content in the same row, but under the bill to date. And once we hit that, now we have the full formula in the formula box. So then we hit enter. So we automatically calculate we use the contract total minus the bill to date. That is what we want. Since that is a table format, once we fill one cell under the amount due, the system automatically use the same formula to calculate the left empty cell in this table. So now all the content under the amount due, they use the same formula, which is the contract total minus the bill to date, and they have the result for that. And we finish this step number C. And step number 12, but wants you to make it easier. I'm sorry. So we finished step number D in step number 10. And as I mentioned, since that is a table, so for the step number E, we don't have to manually do anything for that, but the system gonna automatically fill the range H5 through H14 with the same formula in the cell H4, since that is a table. And step number 11, she also wants you to make the following calculation in the range K4 through K6. First, in the cell K4, we find K4. K4. And we use the counter. So we double click that and start with the equal sign and put counter there. And in that case, we want to with the structure reference to count the project ID. So we want to select the project ID. So how we do that? If we point, the header, if we point the line above the header of the project, you can see we have a down arrow pop up and we hit that line. Now all the content under the project ID is selected right now. And that is what we want to put the range for the counter. And then we press the enter. So now the system helps us to count the counter for the consultant project. Let me show you one more time. So first we have the counter there. And in that case, we want to apply the counter to calculate the project ID column. So we go back to the project ID. If we point the header, there is a line, above the header. So once we put our mouse there, you can see here pop up a down arrow icon. And once it happened, we hit it just one time. So the whole content under the project ID is selected right now, and that is the range we want to put in this formula. And then we hit the enter, and it leads us back to the K4, and the result for the counter for the project ID will show in the K4. That is what we want. And next, in the cell K5, we want to use the sum function with the structure reference to the total, the value in the contract total. So in the K5, we start with the equal sign and put the sum and hit that. So now we have this formula. And after that, we want to put the contract total for that. So we find the contract total. We point the line above the header, and you can see we have a down arrow. So we one-click that, and all the content under the contract total is selected right now. And we hit enter. So we calculate the sum for the contract total. And step number C, in the cell K6, we want to use the sum function. So K6, we double click that and start with the equal sign and put sum there. And we select the first one, the first sum function. And we want to calculate the bill to date. So basically we do the similar step. We point the line above the header, the bill to date header. And you can see here is a down arrow pop-up and we click that. So all the content under the bill to date is selected right now and we hit the enter button. So we calculate the sum for the bill to date. And next, step number 12. But wants you to make it easier to filter the consultant table based on the project type and location. Add a slicer to the table as follows. Step number 8, insert two slicers, one based on the project type field and the other based on the location in the consultant table. So what we can do is we first simply click any cell from this table and we go to the table design. And in the tools group, you can see here is an icon that is insert slicer. So we hit that. So that is where we can choose what we want to, which category we want to apply for the slicer. So we want to insert two slicer, one based on the project type. So we select the project type. And the second is a location. So we select the location. So we have a project type and location. And then we hit OK. Now we have a two slicer based on this table. And then step number B, apply the slicer style. That is a light yellow slicer style number 4. So if we hit any cell, any slicer, you can see here is a slicer tab pop-up and we go there. And there is a slicer style group. We choose that. And in that case, we want to apply the slicer lighter 4 style for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically it's this one. So we hit that. Now we style this the location slicer. So we keep we do the same stuff for the project type. We select the project type and go to slicer and go to the slicer style and choose the lighter 4. Now we apply the lighter 4 style for these two slicer and we finish our step number B. And step number C, resize and reposition the project type slicer so it covered the range J5 through K14. So we want to change the position for the project type. So that is this one. And we want to make it cover the range J8 through K14. So J8, so we go there, J8 and K14. K14, so we want to make this a little bit wider, but a little bit shorter. K14, so K14. And next, step number D, resize and reposition the location slicer so it will cover the range J18 through K28. So we drag the location slicer and make it cover the J16, J16 and K28. J16 and K28. So we make this slicer a little bit wider. 28. So now this new slicer cover the range J16 through K28. So we finish step number D for step number 12. And step number 13, remove the filter button from the consultant table because you can now use the slicer to filter the data. So in this case, we want to remove the filter for that table. So how we do that is we simply click any cell from this table and we go to the table design and go to the table style option and unselect the filter button. So now when we unselect that, we remove the filter for this table. And now we finish all the steps and make sure we hit the save button before we close our work. And what we can do is we can try to submit it. So we go to the Cengage. Go to the Cengage. And submit it. So now your workbook should have 20 out of 20. So that's all for our project number 6. If you have any question, you're welcome to go to my office hour or you can email me about your question. And thank you for watching. I will see you later. Bye bye.